Well, it's our first full week of opportunities to work off the ham and the fruitcake fat. 5 minutes after 8 o'clock. Well, make that 6 minutes after 8 o'clock.
Are you trying to say that last week could not have been the start week for all of that?
Not really, because most people would be like, "Oh no, let's continue the decadence until Sunday."
But there's still some people still have ham, and some people still have cake.
It doesn't have to make sense to people.
Oh boy!
It doesn't have to make sense. They just have to. It's a matter of okay, we're back to work, but I'm still gonna eat the ham, but I'm gonna fool myself that I'm being more responsible with the ham and the fruitcake. That's all it is.
Good morning, Jamston. Good morning to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis and the Diaspora. Good morning to all listening. We appreciate you. I'm good, Jamston. What about you? How was your weekend?
I'm good. It was actually, well, it was kind of drama filled.
Drama filled, you said? Oh, Lord. Well, I hope the drama was...
Yeah, my car was misbehaving.
Oh, just the car?
Yeah, and some other stuff.
What a New Year gift, huh?
Yeah, but got it sorted out.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Because you're here this morning, so it works, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good stuff.
It was a weird thing with the sensor. A wire had busted off the sensor. So things that weren't supposed to be happening if the sensor was working were happening. So somebody repaired it, and so
you're good to go.
Good again. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. That is very good. Well, I had a churring weekend as usual. I have to do my laundry, etc., etc.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you water the spinach?
Oh no! I tell you, I do absolutely nothing to that thing. I actually cooked some yesterday, so I did spinach rice, some corn in the cup, some baked chicken.
Oh,
yeah.
Boy, that sounds good.
Yeah.
You want to hear what I did? You go ahead, finish yours.
So I don't water that thing. That thing is not fertilized, and the leaves are growing bigger as the day go by. I don't do anything to it. It's really organic.
Bring me some more. I used the last bit from the freezer. I think it was 2 weeks ago. What did I do with it?
Make a smoothie?
Orzo. I did it with orzo.
Oh, Lord. I have not had orzo in forever. My sister used to cook that a lot when we used to live in Antigua. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
She's excellent at those kind of things.
Olive oil, crumble it out.
Let me tell you, and the Parmesan cheese.
I had Asiago at the time.
Okay.
I didn't have. No, it was a Romano Asiago mix. So I added that.
So that's the pasta vibe?
Yeah. So
I don't like pasta.
It's kind of tart. Well, also it's pasta,
I know, but somehow because it resembles rice,
it
gets me more than seeing the actual pasta.
Yeah, it came out really good. It's funny how sometimes you cook and it's like it's almost like you're a different person because you're like, damn, this came out good. And you're like, I can't believe I actually did that. No, seriously, that doesn't happen to you.
Sometimes, yeah.
Because I cook it a lot. I haven't cooked it in a while because the supermarkets, they're very inconsistent with when they stock it.
But do you think it's because of the rate that it leaves the shelves? Because in Antigua, it leaves the shelves very fast, so they restock it as quickly as possible.
To be honest, I think a lot of people working at the supermarkets, they're not really that knowledgeable about foods, especially from other cultures. So they'll see something and they won't really, that stuff that looks like rice. I want nobody to buy that. You know what I mean? I think there's some of that.
So how does it eventually get on the supermarket shelf if you think
because
they think like that?
Because you probably have people here who ask for it. So they'll bring some, but they might not bring enough that they might not.
Everybody can get.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
Understood. So they're feeling it out. Like they had these baked beans one time at Rams. I think it's Bearstone, I think. And I love them because they're from the UK. And then they had them one time and then they disappeared and now they're back. And I'm like, yes.
You know what's ironic? People dump on the UK about their food, right? But the thing is their food prep regulations are a lot more, let's say, conscientious than the Americans, because the Americans will just use chemicals everywhere for everything. You know, whereas it's so funny people dump, UK food is crap, but I much prefer their cereal and a lot of the jams and so on because for one, they're not putting in high fructose corn syrup and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I would give them that. Yeah. But that baked beans.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try.
I love Heinz.
I've seen that actually.
Yeah, in the black can.
Yeah.
It's kind of nicer than Heinz, literally.
And he has the pork, the little chunks of pork.
No, that one doesn't have the no.
Oh,
I don't eat that one.
Beans.
That's just the baked beans, but the sauce, nicer. Yeah. So I was happy when I saw it last week. I got a few cans.
So what did you wash it down with yesterday? I mean, the Sunday meal.
I literally just had fish and salad yesterday. Do you ever have the syndrome, I cook and I cannot eat the food?
No.
I have that all the time. Literally. So I just did fried fish and I had a salad. And that was it.
No, also no drink?
No. Okay. Water.
Water, yeah. I do that a lot too.
Remember, we're all sweet enough, and plus, with my condition, I can't encourage too much drink.
Correction, just you.
We're all sweet enough. Folks, for those of you who are not hearing Azard's voice just yet, he is on his way, so he'll be here with us shortly.
So you want to hear what I did now?
Yes.
Okay, so...
Just made it look like I didn't care to hear. I said you made it look like I didn't care to hear.
No. I just remembered. So I did rice with black beans, but what happened was after the ham, remember, did I tell you I wrapped up the ham bone?
The ham bone to make the soup.
And so on, so it's in the freezer. And what I do, I harvest the gravy at the bottom of the pan.
Yeah.
So I take off the fat.
Of course, you
get rid of it. I put it in a jar. Put it in the freezer.
Okay.
So yesterday when I was doing the rice, I was like, let me put some of that. So I took out 2 scoops, put it in the rice. So I didn't even have to put salt in the rice.
Oh, yeah.
So, and the flavor was nice. I had that nice.
So are you the chef at home? Because you seem to do a lot of the cooking. Lucky wife. Jesus.
And then chicken and turkey.
Oh, wow.
I started this thing where I'll
do 2 meats?
2 turkey and chicken.
Oh,
mixed
boy,
up
no jumps.
And bake it.
Well, technically I did 2 meats yesterday.
325, 90 minutes.
You bake them together?
Of course.
Chicken and turkey?
Yes.
Don't they bake at 2 different temperatures, Jamsa, because of the density of the meat? Okay.
Comes out nice and tender.
All right, Chef Jamsa. I would never bake the 2 together.
Oh, and it was curry. Oh, curry. By the way.
Oh, Jesus. Look at what?
With a little garam masala. You know garam? Yeah,
Jeera masala.
Guyanese. Yeah, you're
Jeera. Why y'all say garam?
But
Jeera masala.
That's what he has on the... this is an Indian Lakshmi. This is from the Lakshmi brand, the Indian brand.
I don't know Lakshmi.
It has Garam on it. Garam masala.
We say Jeera.
And I hear
Indians
saying garam masala.
Okay.
I used to play for this Indian guy. That's what he said.
Garam masala. We say Jeera.
Jeera masala. Okay.
To each his own, I guess. Yeah. Us GT people change it from garam to Jeera.
At the rate we're going, we're going to have to call this show Island Food.
So, folks, for those of you listening, what did you do this weekend? How was your weekend? You can call in and share with us.
And AJ is going to come in and go, you're talking about food. You don't bring anybody any food.
I love it when he comes to you. Be like, always talking about food and we don't see any of this food.
I just talk a good game.
Oh, okay. You know what I found out over the weekend? That the Prime Minister for Grenada, Deacon Mitchell, he's a lawyer too.
Oh, he's a lawyer?
What? Yes, he is.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not really surprising.
Even Mia Motley. I didn't know she was
a lawyer.
I did not know.
Yeah. But I think she's an economist as well, but she's a lawyer. Yeah.
Because you must have a backup.
Yeah.
You should have a backup.
And you can usually tell when a lot of people, they go and they do law and they do economics, they're probably thinking about...
along the lines of becoming a politician. Yeah. Oh, nice. I was like, so I wanted to Google how many more ministers in the Caribbean are lawyers or doctors just to see.
I'm pretty sure it's north of 80%.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Plenty. So, Jamsa, I know you're probably happy for this one.
Yeah.
Yes. Look at you. How did you know? How did you know?
Anyway, let me do my my Agent Smith impression. Except I'm talking to Leah, not Neo. Why won't you die?
Well, 1974 will finally die to make way for
that's
2020.
Not dying. That's like fake resurrection.
Oh boy.
It's like a resurrection no one asked for.
But we need it. And I hope when it's resurrected that the connectivity gets back on track because the Caribbean is suffering.
Also, last night, when I saw the article, when you sent it, and I got upset.
Oh boy.
And here's one of the things I sent to a friend. I said, because never mind the fact that they refuse to die.
Yes.
But they come with these stupid year in the names. I don't know what is that Leah. And do you realize Leah 2020 is coming in 2024?
Yeah.
How much? I mean, what's going on?
I had a feeling that Leah 2020 was always there. That's why the conflict with 74.
Hear what my friend said. Well, I'm gonna read what I wrote. So I said, "Why the stupid year in the name? Can't they name it something else?" Liat examples. Liat LLC, Liat Corp, Fly Liat. And then I said, even better, why won't they die? And then he replies, it's a bad sign that Liat 2020 will begin operations in 2024. 4 years late. Is that a portent of late departures in the future? And then my answer was, my confirmation bias is showing, but yes.
They didn't even give it. You two didn't even give it a chance.
And then he went on to say, it will cause confusion, meaning the year 2020, and your name would do wonders for public relations. BWA became Caribbean Airlines, and I came up with some. So I'm gonna give you some of the. By the way, anyone from Liat or any marketing people listening, if I hear any of these being used and I don't get a royalty check, it's gonna be in the voice of RoboCop. There's gonna be trouble. Okay, so so why not something different? I came up with some names. FLI, Fly Leeward Islands. Fly. Get it? FLI, Fly, Fly Leeward Islands. Lift, Leeward Islands Fly Tours. Something. I don't know. Just ideas. Just for examples. And then he came up with, which I actually like too, Banda, Barbados, Antigua, Dominica Airlines.
I don't like that one at all.
You don't like that one?
No.
Okay. And then there was and I thought of Sunbird as well.
Sunbird.
I mean, and then it's kind of a double entendre. Antigua, Antiguans.
I think
they're really big on having.
Gaston Brown likes his Liat, so he's gonna keep it.
Yeah.
Because 2020 isn't new. I think once that logo changed, 2020 was there waiting to dethrone 1974.
It's kind of weird that it's 2020, starting in 2024.
2020, 4 years later. And let's hope it starts in 2024 because there's not a starting date yet for it, if you notice most of the articles say. So I don't know what's the suspense.
I noticed I said something about Caribbean Development Bank paying for one plane, an additional plane or something.
Yeah, I think they have two. Yeah. So they're looking for three, but with 3 planes, the operation was rough sometime when we have 14 -8s, right? And I continue to say we, but I'm always going to be a part of them regardless.
Are you just hedging your bets?
Huh?
You're just hedging your bets? No, I'm just
joking. When there were 14 -8s, it was a struggle. Then we had about 7 or 9 ATRs. We had our little hiccups, but the service was way better. So I don't know how 3 works. I really don't know how 3 is gonna work. 2 seem to have a. Well, let's see. Let's hope for the best.
Well, I heard that we had a lot of. Someone was telling me last week that we have direct. We have a direct flight from Barbados to St. Kitts by. I'm not sure if it's. What's the St. Kitts one called? Caribbean Airways. No.
Intercaribbean,
yeah.
Okay.
And another. I was to tell you guys. Did you guys listen Voices on Friday?
No.
Well, we had John Emanuel on with Socrates, right? He is from Barbados and he runs a kind of bed and breakfast where a lot of Kittians and Divisions stay when they go to Barbados for their visa.
Okay.
So I was telling him about the thing about how the U.S. government announced that they were thinking of an additional embassy for the Eastern Caribbean. So I told him, I asked him where he think the embassy is gonna go. Guess what he said?
St. Kitts. Okay.
And I kind of think he would know because he probably knows people at the embassy and so on. Because he said, and it's funny, he used one of the arguments he used, or one of the reasons he used was something I had thought of, but I was still thinking Antigua was gonna outweigh us because he was there before and so on. Yeah, but he said, St. Kitts is even more centrally placed than Antigua. where we are in the chain. And the other thing he said was, what was it? Oh my God, what was it? Oh, yes, this was it. He said that St. Kitts has more traffic than Antigua going to thing for visas. I was surprised that St. Kitts and Nevis.
I wonder.
I
how
was
they
really
do it
surprised.
now.
So that's probably that might have something to do with it.
When I flew, and on the 521, especially once we come from Tortola, if we came with we normally had the big plane. If we came with a capacity of maybe, let's say, 20 something people, when we got here, we got a full quota, so we left here packed. That if you were super crew and you had a hope there wasn't a pilot up there to compete with to get the jump seat at the front, because they were always full. Every single morning, Kittians of the week, Monday to Friday, Kittians were going to Barbados to get visas, and in their droves, and they were accompanied with someone from Cantors, and they were going every single day. And that's why I always thought it funny when we here say, and I include myself, we don't have money, but when we need something, you just see. Definitely. I don't know where we get the money from.
Exactly. And the other thing I was going to point out is that this thing is not necessarily about hardship in St. Kitts and Nevis. It's just that people want to they want to go and explore opportunities in the U.S.
And the fact, I think, because of how Cantor sold it too, a lot of people went to Barbados. They got a little tour before they went to the embassy, so they got to see a different country, and the success rate was great. You might only find like 2 persons coming back without a visa, or maybe 1, but majority of them got their visas when they went with Cantors. So
well, pleasant morning to everyone. I
morning, AZ.
Having a wonderful morning. I just want to say on air, today is my mother's birthday. So I want
happy birthday, mommy.
Happy birthday, AZ's mom.
Yes, Alison Douglas from Old Road. I wish her the best today on her birthday. In addition to that, I see you guys had a discussion on numerous things. So while I was driving here, I heard about I think you said Mitchell being an attorney. And then I think you said about Mia Motley, yes. And some other things.
Food? How did you miss the food?
Yeah, I heard the food. He said that AZ is going to come in here. But I didn't hear the extent of the food that he was talking, only that part. But I've been here for so long, almost a year.
What you start him up for?
The talk.
I can't let you get him every day. I have to let you get him.
You came here recently and you brought the tea. But Jamsa has been talking about the food.
And it has never materialized.
Like I said, I talk a good game.
I had to let AZ get you this money because you always get him.
Thank you so much.
I was kind of hoping he didn't hear that.
He's going to hear. He's listening. He is listening.
You ever hear when Tony says this commercial, I am listening, I am listening.
I am listening.
So AZ's listening.
Yes. So I really wanted us to go through the presentations made by the various leaders of the party, but so many things happened this morning in terms of work-wise, and I did what you said, you screen record the videos, so I could have shared them, but I didn't have the time to actually pinpoint because I want at least to start so you could get and a little bit to the end so we could really discuss it, because some of these messages, they were quite long. I think I want to say I think Honorable Dr. Harris, his message was maybe almost 16 minutes. I could be mistaken, but I think it was 16 minutes. I think Dr. Jeffrey, with his, on behalf of the Prime Minister, I think that was over 20. The Honorable Sean Richards, that was under 9 minutes. So
did we get any from Mark? No?
I think there might have been from Mark. I assume there might have been, but I didn't focus on that, but maybe I should look into that to get it,
so we can get everybody.
Yeah, because how I did it in the sense that the government St. Kitts and Nevis from that aspect. So
what else?
You can look at that too.
What else said though? You didn't get to listen to them either, right?
I listened them.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes, I listened them, but I wanted for person. I didn't just want to come and share my opinion. In fact, I wanted to stay off the discussion, considering that I'm a chairperson of one party. I just wanted persons to weigh in and see where they like. Because there are certain things that I liked about the different messages, you know what I mean? But I wanted not to be the one starting on it. Yeah.
Actually, here's what I might do. If there's time. There's no Money Matters this morning, so maybe I'll play them between 10 and 11.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say, well, I'll try and listen them home, but then I realized the good doctor is sick, so so I could probably play those between 10 and 11 and see how many of them I'll get through. Get through.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear. Get well soon.
Yeah, Dr. Martin, do get well soon.
Yes.
Because I don't know how many people heard them. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Is there a time limit that they should have on these messages? Because after a while, even when we were kids going to school, the teacher lost us.
Yes.
So
I know.
Is there 10 minutes or there's no minutes to it?
Well, there's no time allotted for the message, but
Okay.
I think a message, if it's going to be effective, such as like that one, I think by 10
Short and
minutes,
sweet.
10 minutes probably,
Yeah.
no more than 10. That's for me. I don't know. But then other things might be in play. I don't know. I'm not saying or pointing to any, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm just saying if it were for me. Yeah.
Yo, AZ, when your turn comes, right? You have
mean
to.
if my turn comes.
No, we are going to be positive. We are going to be positive. When your turn comes, you have to remember all these things, You have to keep that speech on the I'm going to say, remember, AZ, when you had said.
I remember when they used to have presentations and you used to go over a bit and persons would say, it's a bit lengthy. And then afterwards, I made it sure that it goes under, so persons tend to always want more rather than asking when is he going to finish.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, because once
you're
left, even when you're watching a movie or a series, once you're left, you're like, oh, but I gotta watch the next one.
Yes,
can't wait.
Definitely. So, those are some things. I saw again that Alaska Airlines, the Max 8, the Max 9 now, that. While in flight, I think the window blew out, and so they had to do an emergency landing. In fact, one of the passengers on there, a young boy, he lost an article of clothing, his shirt. I mean, that's very lucky that only his shirt.
Oh boy, because of the suction.
And so based on what I saw in the news, in fact, I was looking at it, it said that that airline, I think, grounded all the MAX 9 crafts.
So now from the Max 8 to the Max 9? I cannot.
I don't.
And that might be a blow, because you had all these aircrafts to do services, and now you can't do services because of that problem, because that's what happened to the Max 8.
Yeah.
But the Max 8s are back in operation, and we see a lot of them come here for American. Yeah, they be working, I see. I went away on one of those last year, and I didn't even remember that it was what it was.
I know. Trust me, when it comes to flying, is one of the things that I don't really,
I could never see you being somebody that's so concerned when you are in the air.
Because it's like you don't have any control. Anything that gives, for me at least, no control, because you have no.
I have no control either, because I'm not at the front dealing with anything. There, traffic control.
I like to always be in control of.
Oh boy! Relinquish control.
You put your faith in the hands of those other persons.
God and those pilots. Yes. And you get there safely.
Yes.
All the time.
Yes. Thank God for that. And so, it says federal officials on Saturday ordered the immediate grounding of some Boeing 737 MAX 9 jetliners until they are inspected after an Alaska Airlines plane suffered a blowout that left a gaping hole in the side of its fuselage. So it says the required inspections take around 4 to 8 hours per aircraft and affect about 171 airplanes worldwide. Alaska Airlines said in a statement that of the 65 737 MAX 9 aircraft in its fleet, crews had inspected the paneled over exits as part of the recent maintenance work on 18 planes, and those were cleared to return to service Saturday. Inspections for the remaining aircraft were expected to be completed in the coming days, the company said. An Alaska Airlines jetliner blew out a portion of its fuselage shortly after 3 miles above Oregon late Friday, forcing the pilots to make an emergency landing as its 171 passengers and 6 crew members donned oxygen masks. No one was seriously hurt as the depressurized plane returned safely to Portland International Airport about 20 minutes after departure. Authorities are still looking for the door from the panel over exit and have a good idea of where it landed over Oregon Route 217 and Barnes Road in the Cedar Hills area west of Portland. National Transportation Safety Board Chair Jennifer Homday said in a news conference. It goes on a bit further. It's a bit of a lengthy article, but I'm just happy that persons are safe. That's major priority, that persons are safe.
And that is very good that they landed safe. No, we have to go on the international scene this morning. So this comes from Luke Caribbean.
Yeah.
Israel signals it has wrapped up major combat in northern Gaza. And the war has now entered its 4th month. So Jerusalem.
It's 4 months already? Wow.
You heard. 4 whole months. So the Israeli military signaled that it has wrapped up major combat in northern Gaza, saying it has completed dismantling Hamas military infrastructure there as the war against the militant group entered its 4th month Sunday. Israeli did not address troop deployments in northern Gaza going forward. Military spokesperson Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari said late Saturday that forces would focus on central and southern parts of the territory and strengthen defenses along with the Israel-Gaza border fence. The announcement came ahead of a visit to Israel by U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, who on Sunday was in Qatar, a key mediator. The Biden administration officials have urged Israel to wind down its blistering air and ground offensive in Gaza and shift to more targeted attacks against Hamas leaders. In recent weeks, Israel has scaled back its military assault in northern Gaza and pressed its offensive in the south, where most of Gaza's 2.3 million Palestinians are squeezed into smaller areas in a humanitarian disaster while being pounded by Israeli airstrikes. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu insists that war will not end until the objective of eliminating Hamas, getting Israel hostages returned, and ensuring that Gaza won't be a threat to Israel are met. So the war was triggered by Hamas on October 7th attack on southern Israel, in which the militants killed about 1,200 people, mostly civilians, and took some 250 people hostage. So Israeli retaliation has killed more than 22,800 Palestinians and wounded more than 58,000, according to the health ministry, in Hamas-run Gaza. So the death toll does not distinguish between combatants and civilians. So I'm happy that they're winding down. I don't think they have dismantled it fully, because there's always somebody that's among the good folks that are saying, y'all really think y'all got all of us? But I just hope that it goes away, that and the war between Ukraine and Russia.
Yes. So, on the positive end, they're going to reduce, the force that they applied over there.
Yeah, but those people that are displaced, they have to work so hard to imagine having to go back and go through rubble and clean up, and then persons will be mentally affected. They're already emotionally and physically affected. So war just is not good any parts. But the fact that they are wrapping up and they're moving out and people are gonna get a chance to start for those who are still alive and who still has the strength to push on and persevere. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's really really unfortunate.
Yeah.
To me, there is definitely no benefit to war.
None. What do we get from it?
So many lost lives.
Innocent people
hurt. Economies broken.
Jeez. Imagine
lives and livelihoods lost.
Gone. Because if all the workplaces are mashed up, where are you going to work? Where are you going to get the income from? You have to be in these camps and pray that humanitarian supplies continue to get to where you are.
And while we here think about problems that seem so great, and they over there are faced with trying to hold on to life every single day.
Every single day.
And to be in a safe space.
You know, what's interesting, I don't know if you guys have been following, well, some of the controversy caused by the Israeli-Palestine conflict. There is a video circulating where some Israeli officials are having a meeting, and they're apparently very upset at the fact that Black Americans are not on their side in terms of supporting, just blindly supporting them in everything they do.
To say that they have a right to.
Yeah, they're really upset. I was really surprised. Someone did point out that I saw a commentary. Someone pointed out that part of that is because a big part of their support with the American government are Democrats and Republicans as well. But the thing is that they feel if Black Americans aren't on board, that affects their lobbying power in the U.S. with some of the people, some of the representatives in Congress, and so on. But I just found it very interesting. I'm gonna send you the video. I'll try and send it to you later on. But it was very interesting to me.
Why?
I've seen it seen the same video 3 different places.
Why do we all need to be on board for the same thing? I thought differences of opinion matter as well.
There you go. But there's this knee-jerk notion that seems to apply to supporting Israel no matter what they do. And if you don't support, you're anti-Semitic. And even when you tell the truth, I mean, take for example, Kanye West, and he really pisses me off a lot of the times. I love his music; he's a genius. But Kanye West didn't say anything wrong. Oh, and it wasn't Kanye alone. Someone else pointed out that, well, when you sign a contract for a movie or even sports, TV, whatever,
all these people are behind it.
A bunch of Jews that are signing off. How is that anti-Semitic? That's the truth, right?
It's talking against them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand it.
Or I wouldn't say he's talking against them. I would say he's giving out information that maybe he should not have given out.
No, but everybody knows that. It's like
not
an open
everybody.
secret. Most people, most people who even
who follow stuff like
with
that
a modicum of media savvy know that the Jews pretty much control the media and a lot of banks and stuff.
I didn't think a lot of people knew that, I would say.
And the irony is they do this persecution complex thing where
because there was this
and they have so much money and
there was this
influence
university professor too. Wasn't she forced to resign because of something
American
that she
lady,
said?
Claudine Gay, yes.
Yeah, boy.
Yes, she was. Yeah, that she was a casualty of the same nonsense as well, And they're always quick to fire the black people.
You find?
Yeah, it's a double standard. I mean, because if it was
so
someone
you
else,
have known someone that have been anti-Semitic to them, that is not of our color, and they have managed to survive the firing.
Yeah, there have been cases, but at the same time, the backlash is always double when it's us.
I want to say I wonder why, but then
we know what the
I'll
reason
just
is.
have to just.
We don't have to waste time.
Yeah.
Wondering why. There's a phone call here. Let's see what this caller has to say. Caller.
Yes, good morning to you guys, man. How you
Hey,
guys doing?
good morning. How are you doing?
Yeah, pretty good. Well, sometimes I like these conversations, man. Rather than the regular politics conversations, these toned down conversations, sometimes some good discussions, man. But Kanye West, people don't really see what he was saying, but they don't agree with the way he was saying. They was quite upset, but the man was right on point. We got this thing called freedom of speech, but speech is not really free.
Indeed.
You still got to watch what you say, man.
Yep.
You know what I mean? As a lawyer, Azard should know about that. But talking about the Israel-Hamas conflict, right? It's just so funny that every time one speaks up in support of the Palestinians, they come under so much public scrutiny, bro. Look at there's a lady up at Harvard that was forced to retire.
Yeah, we just.
Gay, I think her name is Gay, the black lady, right? And also
Claudine
there
Gay,
was at least, there was at least 1 or 2 universities that these presidents had to resign.
Are they all black?
Because of, Gay, I know he's black. I can't remember the other one.
Okay.
I think there was a lady, I think that was from Penn State.
Yes,
or something.
yes, she
from
was
the
black
board,
as
the
well.
board of trustees in Penn State or something.
And one from one of the Carolinas as well.
Yeah, there was probably 1 or 2 more. But it's funny that if you don't align with Israel, the whole makeup of people can't talk up against this stuff. I mean, we can't support another group that you don't support.
Yeah.
We know the Jews controlling the economics of the world, and they control in America. A president. What we got to remember: a presidential election is looming. A presidential election is coming this year, and once that Israel-Hamas war started, it's going to make or break the presidency of this country.
Yes.
America must have an international conflict coming into an election, so we can have something to talk about internationally, especially with the debates.
Okay.
This is why Donald Trump is avoiding these debates. The people need to hear his stance on these international issues.
The Iowa caucus is coming up. The Iowa caucus is coming up. You could hear me?
Yeah.
The Iowa caucus is coming up. The Iowa caucus is coming up. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, we watching and we looking on. The lady Nikki Haley is gaining some ground, and if Trump needs to come on to these debates so people can get an idea of where he stands with the issues, rather than him just bullying his way through.
Yeah.
We know he got a lot of supporters, but the supporters who's independent and on the other side, the rest of the country needs to know where he stands with these issues as well. You know what I mean? But different than that, man, the guy and the president announced that there's some allegiance or an agreement that was made with Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago for travel via ferry and cargo travel between those 3 countries.
Yes.
And me too, it's thinking that St. Nevis and Antigua and Montserrat, they need to form such an alliance because, the travel, being that Liat is going down and it's so difficult to get around the Caribbean, we should try to get like a ferry service going between Antigua, St. Nevis and Montserrat.
Yes.
And on the Nevis south side, the NIA in Nevis, I don't know who's going to do that, the federal government or the local government. But Nevis on the south side or on the east side, they need to develop a port on that side so that they can have some ferry service going between Antigua and Montserrat at least.
Okay.
They need to think about starting to develop the south side of Nevis and more the peninsula in St. Kitts where the ferry boats is coming, the water taxis coming across from Nevis to St. Kitts to Reggae Beach. Over there at Reggae Beach, need to have a port. They need to develop that port over there, like the Orly port is being developed. They need to develop that peninsula of St. Kitts and the south side of Nevis.
Okay.
They need to upgrade the taxi, the water taxi, and the Reggae Beach side over there in St. Kitts. But that's my little contribution for now, man. I got a lot more to say, but I'll let somebody else come in, man.
Okay. Thank you so much. So someone on the Facebook page, Cleo Rogers, has indicated that they have found the door. And I assume, based on our conversation...
Oh, it was a door? I thought it was a window.
No, a
door. The door.
Oh, my God.
So they found the door.
Oh.
Yes.
But the fact that you...
But okay. No. You realize they've. I don't know if I was talking to Sharon. I didn't realize if you had said it. You realize they've grounded the 737 Maxes again.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah.
The
Oh, you did.
nines.
Oh, you did mention it. Okay. Yeah.
I guess you.
Yeah, I was talking to Sharon.
My voice. Yeah, my voice wants to attack me already for the morning. Yeah, that's why I was telling Azard the 8s are back and doing good, and now the 9 comes with a little trouble. Yeah, he mentioned they grounded.
Oh, it's the 9. The 737.
It's the 9. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was already looking at the 8s, and now I have to look at the 9s.
I was just thinking, right? Like if Clive Backus was here still, Kay would be our aviation. Should be our aviation expert.
Oh boy!
Yes.
Oh boy!
No, because he likes that kind of stuff. He's like,
okay,
okay,
nice.
our finance our finance guru, CJ.
Yeah.
You'd be like
And
our aviation
K-
person.
K has, you see me got me calling a K.
That's good.
I can call you A.
No, AZ sounds sweet. We can't call him A.
So, how have you've flown so many times, and all the times you've been very calm. You've never had any.
No, in my tenure of working at LIAT, no emergencies, thank God. But we were trained for every single one, including a decompression, which can happen because once that part of the plane has left, air is going to come in fast because we fly in a pressurized cabin.
Yeah.
So you have to go down because people can start having breathing problems. People can die depending on their age and stuff. So that's why they always say, put on your mask first before you help somebody because you need to breathe regular air because the air that's now mixing with the inside air is not going to work. Yep.
Also, I think I remember they said on CNN yesterday that it helped that the plane was at about 20,000 feet because they said if it was at like 30 plus, it would have been it might have been a little different. Yeah.
Yes.
Hold on, yeah.
Because people can fall asleep when these things happen, and imagine your poor pilot is just there losing. He's fighting, but because of what's happening.
So, what do you think? You think maybe the door wasn't closed properly or something?
No, these things happen.
They're doing the investigation.
These things, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
No.
You
Once the
and you
door
don't
is
think
closed, there is an indication in the cockpit
to
say that it's closed.
So you don't
Just
think it's
like
a submodel wide problem? You think that's just isolated?
I am not sure. As
Yeah.
I said, they're investigating. I don't want 9 to come for me, and when they see me, be like, no, she can't fly at 9. No. These things happen, Jam. So you never know when something's going to happen, but you just pray. I swear, every time a flight attendant goes to work, we go to work with the positivity in our mind that we're going to get to point A, and we're going to get from point A to B safe and back safe as well.
Every time there's turbulence, and I
love turbulence.
feel
Look
uncomfortable. I always look at the flight attendants.
But we can't do anything.
If they look calm,
then you stay calm. I would like to remember Azard on a flight, I would have loved to remember Azard on a flight.
What if that flight attendant was a failed actor who was actually a pretty good method actor? Well, you get what I'm saying? Like you're a pretty good actress.
I get you. Yeah, we just have to stay calm even if we're afraid.
Yeah. So she's there like, and she looks pretty good. So we should be okay.
But we have to because why should one instill fear in the other? Because that's cause for commotion, right? Imagine you looking frightened, everybody. Oh God, if she look frightened, then I gotta be frightened too. No. You just put on your brave face, but I love turbulence though. I love turbulence.
You love turbulence?
What? I love the shakes. I love the shakes.
Okay.
What is a flight without shakes?
Okay.
You see,
smooth flight.
You see, taking off from St. Martin and going into Antigua.
Oh well,
those are my favorite parts. The shakes, shakes. Caller, good morning. You're live on Island T.
Good morning.
Hey, good
morning. Good morning.
Is this Mr. Warner?
It's telling us about the personal life that she loves the shakes. I'll not change the subject. First of all, there's no land mass in St. Kitts named Reggae Beach. It irritates me when I hear people say they're going to Reggae Beach. Reggae Beach is a bar and restaurant. Reggae Beach as a place is a place in Jamaica. Reggae Beach is a bar and restaurant in Cockleshell, St. Kitts.
Okay.
If tomorrow Mr. Pereira moves his entity from Cockleshell to Connery, he will still call it Reggae Beach. Will we now change the name of Connery Beach to Reggae Beach? Please, let us stop ourselves calling the location Reggae Beach.
It was a caller who said it? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Gentlemen, a few moments ago.
Cockleshell Beach is what it is.
Yes, and people say it all of the time. We don't say Hyatt Beach.
No.
Sure.
Do we?
No.
But
why have we, when they were on the other side of the peninsula, we call that area Reggae Beach? it got taken over by another entity, is it Salt Plaza or something or the other?
No.
And
That was Turtle Beach. That was Turtle Beach.
Again. Reggae Beach is the name of the restaurant, not the name of the beach itself.
Okay.
Yeah, he's right. Also,
once I'm there on that subject,
yes, please.
The area in what we now generally refer to as Christopher Harbor, it's Sandbank Bay, not Sandy Bank Bay, as they have chosen to rename it. It's Sandbank Bay because there is a sandbank in the bay. It's not a sandy bank. It's a sandbank in the bay, why it's called Sandbank Bay. Go to any of our official maps. That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, and to your point, there's another one. Wait, I know you're going to change the topic, but I want to get this in because it's on the same topic. You realize a lot of people say Banana Bay, but Banana Bay was the name of the hotel that OTI ran down there. When it's once again Cockleshell Bay. It's Cockleshell Bay.
Where is Banana Bay?
No, there is also Banana Bay as well. Further along, the area in which the Hyatt is located, around that headland, the headland is the dividing point between Banana Bay and Cockleshell Bay. There was on that location on a hill there was a Banana Bay hotel.
Okay.
Many years ago.
Well, my boys' school teacher gave me wrong information.
The Hyatt has that alcove. That is the Banana Bay Beach.
Okay.
That bay is Banana Bay, and therefore that's Banana Bay Beach.
Okay.
So the Hyatt has access to Banana Bay Beach, just as Reggae Beach restaurants patrons have access to Cockleshell Bay.
Yeah. Okay. You had another topic you wanted to address.
The door was not found. A bolt from the door was found.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
And where did they find this bolt, Mr. Warner?
It was found in some woman's backyard. Send them images of it, and they will be going to retrieve it later today.
Oh, wow.
Okay, thanks. So I
They
guess the
confirm
person...
that they do identify as coming from the aircraft, and they'll be retrieving them later today. But the door itself has not been located. They also found 2 personal items from persons who were on the aircraft.
Oh, wow.
In not far away from where the bolt, the bolt, B-O-L-T, was retrieved.
Wow.
On the Liat matter, I think my skepticism, and want to emphasize it is personal skepticism, not based on the inside knowledge. First of all, you cannot run an airline on one aircraft. Because if that aircraft should have some mechanical or other difficulties, suddenly the airline has stopped flying for the day. You need a minimum of 2 aircraft to call yourself an airline. In terms of practicality, I mean, you can call it whatever you please. But in terms of practicality, okay, we must understand, and this is, again, speaking from my point of view, the notion that we must have a Liat in the form that it was, whereby this airline served all of the islands on a daily basis, is a desirable thing, but it may not be a payable proposition. Maybe what the countries of the Caribbean need to recognize is that just as many of them, including St. Kitts, provide subsidies to private carriers, Delta, Air Canada, etc., to provide services to St. Kitts. Maybe we should provide similar things for privately run airlines to provide services to these islands. The moment that an airline is going to be state-owned, it is going to be run inefficiently. British Airways was owned by the United Kingdom government. It no longer is. It is a private airline company which carries on the name British Airways.
Yeah, okay.
It is more efficiently run. Privately run things are more efficiently run because decisions are made on commercial considerations. It doesn't mean that the needs of the country can't be taken into play. But when decisions are being made by politicians looking for something else to happen, it doesn't turn out. Let me give you a local instance where politicians keep promising things, but the people who have to make the commercial decisions have said no. Many years ago, there was a branch of National Bank in Sadler's. There was a robbery at the bank. National Bank chose to close the branch. There is an ATM next door to the building where the branch is located. Every election campaign, politicians tell us they're going to bring back National Bank to Sadler's. So people don't have to go to Barstow to sign the point. And when the directors of National Bank look at the fundamentals in terms of cost and other factors, they have not taken back a branch to Sadler's because, as we say, those of us of a certain age, the dance can't pay for the light. We need to make decisions based on commercial considerations. And so I believe the ideal solution to the Caribbean is that if multiple airlines provide guaranteed services between islands and then amongst themselves have code sharing and passenger sharing arrangements, this could work. But if you want to provide a service every day to every island, some islands are going to feel left out. And the numbers are not there. Let the private sector decide, I can make money carrying people from Antigua to Dominica or from St. Kitts to Montserrat or whatever it may be. And if the government say, okay, then we desire it, they may be willing to supplement it. But for expecting one airline to provide all these services, as the good dear lady here knows, running an aircraft from St. Kitts to Barbados involves two sets of landing fees. St. Kitts, Barbados. Running an airline from St. Kitts, Antigua, Dominica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Grenada, Barbados involves multiple landing fees. And so you who want to travel from St. Kitts to Barbados are having to pay in your fare fees to land in all of those islands when all you want to do is to get to Barbados. And so I think if the private sector is involved, they will make decisions and we can get government to stop planting. But LIAC, whether you call it peace or war airlines from Nigeria, is going to continue to be the fantasy of Antiguan politicians who will put their priorities first.
Okay.
And therefore, I wish you fine people a wonderful day. A disappointment that the traffic people didn't come in because there are a number of issues that one would have loved to hear in. But may the rest of your day be hard working and productive.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and you as well.
Okay. So,
But who privately is going to want to take over something that has been publicized as negative as Liet has been?
Well, maybe we should frame it differently as, well, who would want to start something that would fill the spot? Or, have something additional that will fill the spot. And then maybe even take over the plane from Liet and say, okay, I'll continue the payments, I'll continue the lease or whatever, you know. I mean, well,
That's
we
a
have...
hard one.
I mean, there is need for it.
Yeah.
And to his point, Mr. Warner's point, we've seen it where private entities take over things and do a much better job than government entities in the mere fact
But how
that
many private entities are still around?
with that
Red Jet,
it would need
Caribbean Sun, Caribbean Star. Where are they?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, I'd forgotten about Red Jet. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when Red Jet come, there were people, Kortensia, you should go over there. I'd be like, do I look crazy just to work on a jet? No, let me stay where I know there's stability. We might have issues, but let me stay right where we are. I'm not interested. Pop. Caller, go ahead. You're live on LNT.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr.
I
Microphone.
don't think there is a need to reinvent the wheel. There are so many other countries that operate under similar circumstances. I'm thinking, perhaps, for instance, of the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos, right? We need to look at what they do to make sure that there are connections between the islands. Yes, the difference is that they are one country. Those islands are one country. So the government, I guess, can make the appropriate arrangements, the appropriate subsidies, and so on. But we certainly should look at that model as a means of making sure that air transportation in the region becomes a little more reliable. And I still say that if it's deregulated, then you'll see how the connections are made and how transportation would be easier. It would be just like when we had the larger ferries between St. Kitts and Nevis.
That we need to bring
Somebody
back.
thought, hello?
I said the ones that we need to bring back.
If we need to bring them back?
You don't think?
Right, and the services provided now more efficient and more...
Yeah, good, but the big... Don't you think we need a big one? And another big one?
Well, the market certainly don't think so.
Okay.
But I mean, I'd have to say that that's anecdotal, don't you? Because I mean, take for example, last year. I mean, I know that was a peak period. Last year during music festival, I remember when Alistair and the music festival people would come here. They came here over a period of weeks leading up, and they kept telling us how American Airlines had to keep adding flights, and because clearly there was demand for the airlift. And I actually think that if the airlift was there, people would travel more. It's not that people don't. I actually feel people would travel more if
that was seasonal though.
Well, yeah, I can't see that. I can't see the point. But I feel like if people knew that they could travel and they had options and then the prices were reasonable, I think they would. You don't think so? Okay?
I don't think prices would ever be reasonable.
The fact that Caribbean Sun and Caribbean Star didn't survive that, because remember, cheap tickets, lots of flights, and they still folded.
Yep.
Right. So yeah, I really think we need to look at other models in the region to make sure that we get this thing right.
Well, actually, that's a great segue. 3 minutes after 9 o'clock. We need to take a break. And Kay, this is a good time, and I would like to hear what Ira has to say about this, because I'm sure he'll have some things to say.
Okay.
Remember, you posted that article. I just pulled it up, so when we come back, we can read that and talk about it. The Caribbean ferry thing.
Yeah. Between the Caribbean islands.
Yeah.
I think Barbados and Trinidad and
Guyana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Buying your medication is easy with City Drug Store's curbside pickup. WhatsApp our certified pharmacist at 662-8769 with your requests. For prescriptions, take a clear photograph and send for review. We will engage you in dialogue and then provide a quotation and link for payment. You can then pay via TDC's online payment portal. And once the transaction is complete, you'll be notified that your pickup is ready. Yes, it's that easy. Send your WhatsApp message to 662-8769 to order your medications today with City Drug Store's curbside pickup service.
when it comes to the important things in life: your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider. Only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Delisle Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
Inland Revenue Department.
Fasten your frequency. Smart's e-government portal update is presented by Janicia Jeffers. Elevate your tax game with Smarts. Here's another game changer for Smart's e-government portal users: the power to amend your tax return online. If you have initially submitted your return online and need to make changes, it is now easier than ever. Even more exciting, if your revised amount is higher than the initial tax amount, Smarts will automatically assess your return and you would be accessible immediately in the e-government portal. No more waiting. Your updated tax situation is swiftly taken care of. Smart's e-government portal is all about convenience and efficiency. Stay in control of your tax affairs, make amendments hassle-free, and enjoy a smarter tax experience.
Revenue Department. Working for us. We serve Inland Revenue Department.
Hey, that's the sound of Bermuda. Noise cans. Let's get back to the my noisy crew here in Island Tea.
You gotta be the persons in that room with him. Whoever is in there, that room with him. Not us over here.
Not us at all. We are very quiet folks.
So guys over there, those persons who are over there with him,
they're invisible.
His own demons. Yes. So they're noisy over there with him. Not over here. So as we continue to talk about the Caribbean travel woes, there was an article that says Guyana, Barbados, and Trinidad form new company for Caribbean ferry service. And this article was issued on January 5th, 2024. President Dr. Irfan Ali on Friday announced that the government of Guyana, Barbados, and Trinidad and Tobago formed a new company that will introduce a passenger and cargo regional ferry system. President Ali, while speaking at a contract signing event for the new U.S. $35 million Mackenzie Wismer Bridge in Region 10 up of Demawar Berbice, said the company was formed on Thursday. Through this company, the ferry system is expected to transport passengers and cargo among Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, and Barbados. That will open up massive opportunities, he said. Subsequently, Dr. Ali told the newsroom that the three governments are still discussing the venture. We have to get this going, and then we have to work on expanding, the head of state said. Solving intra-regional transportation woes has been a huge focus for the Caribbean community, CARICOM, for years now. With the current revitalized focus on guaranteeing the region's food security, solving this problem is also in focus. Last year, the Caribbean Development Bank, the CDB, announced it would finance the consultancy services for a study on the opinions available to establish a new shipping service across Barbados, Grenada, Guyana, and Trinidad and Tobago. In October, when the Afri-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum was hosted in Guyana, President Ali said the African Export-Import Afromex Bank is keen on supporting a Caribbean private sector proposal for an inter-regional system that could allow the cheaper transportation of goods and people via the sea. As such, he encouraged regional private sector players to form a consortia and get the project going. So we see government is at the helm again. As Mr. Warner said, we need more private sector involvement. Do we think that this is going to come into full fruition and have a longevity for generations to come?
I actually think it's a good idea, and it's good that the development bank is doing what they did, basically doing what they're doing for the geothermal thing, where they're providing the money for the, I guess, feasibility study. But think about it this way: we fly up to the States, right? It takes 3-4 hours.
Yes.
So I feel it could work because, like, let's say I'm on vacation, and you might feel like, man, I can go to Barbados. That might take maybe a day, 2 days. Well, maybe a day or so.
It could take a day.
Or maybe
The cruise.
12 hours, whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a cool experience. I think some people would. And then imagine if it's Antigua, it might be 2 hours. So, and then if you
Antigua's right there.
yeah, so it might be faster. But say Dominica, maybe let's say Creole Festival. You say, oh, let's take the thing down to. That might take what, maybe 4 hours, maybe. And you have time. If you have time to kill,
people
and you
are gonna be keen on traveling by ferry, because a lot of people get seasick. I don't know how it works in the air where they just chew their gum and they think they're okay, but
usually the bigger the boat, the less it's an issue.
The less you feel
Yeah,
it. Because the Makana ferry, some persons still say they get seasick. My friend came on it and she went back via air. She said she couldn't do it. I'm not talking about Makana, though. But to each his own, because I guess everybody can stand the sea. But you think if it was bigger, because even on cruise ships people get sick.
Yeah, I guess
we're not trying to down what they're trying to do, but just saying
sensitive people. But I feel like no.
You might be surprised somebody who didn't know that they can get seasick whilst on the bigger boat.
Well, I have a friend, and I remember I used to get annoyed at him. Like sometimes we're going somewhere, and he said he'd have to sit in front because he'd get.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what nonsense you're telling me? And then I found out that was a thing.
Yeah. Driving motion sickness.
No, but he said if he sat in front, he didn't get it. But if he sat behind, it turns out it's a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing, a big thing too.
So
best believe it.
So sensitive people,
Very.
But I feel like it could work. What?
Hamster.
No, some people.
Even if some persons aren't sensitive, sometimes some things catch us off guard.
No, but what I mean, like motion sickness, I think is something that most people don't suffer from. That's what I mean. So
no. Yeah, the average person.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So we don't want the people them that suffer from it come and beat us up. So we putting them in a class.
I don't think that's exactly an insult, because
it's not. But they might say, "Oh, I'll just put him in a class."
Even my daughter, I noticed, she doesn't seem to have it so much now. But I remember, maybe about 3 years ago, when we go on the smaller boats, when we go Nevis on the smaller boats, she has a little.
Ooze.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem to happen on the bigger boats. So, like the water taxi, she has a problem, but like say the Carib surf, it doesn't seem to happen. Caller, go ahead. Go ahead, caller.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Yeah.
I want to wish you all a bright and prosperous New Year, as the folks used to say a long time ago when I was a boy. But nowadays you all say a lot of different things, they make no meaning.
No.
In conjunction with what you all were discussing here this morning, let me start with young lady said that nobody can take over business that ain't making no profit or that. But that ain't quite true. I learned a long time ago that when you got big, rich entities, sometimes they'll take over. They'll buy stocks. People will buy stocks when they're down, because they got money to play. They're swimming in money, so to speak. But there are some businesses, they are very essential, but they might not be profitable. So sometimes, and especially you got good examples in the United States. Nearly everything you look at United States, and they'll take over these things. And many times they turn them around, but they add them to what they have, so that they push the product. Eventually, the product might become, or whatever they're doing, would become profitable. I'm going to run off on the ferry service. That idea about fast ferry service to the Caribbean, that just cannot work. in a war. It costs too much to travel in the Caribbean. And most of the time, it's a one-way service. But the government them here ain't rich enough to pick up the slack, so to speak. Now, I know that in some countries, like Bahamas is a good example where services are required between islands, so the government would pay subsidize whatever last week. The service is essential. And somebody mentioned it a little earlier about that the fact that because these are one country. I agree with them. Japan is a very good example where Japan is made up of a number of islands. And the Japanese government would have purchased these glad 747 and use them as part of the transportation system to take workers to and from destination, working destinations across the island rather than sailing. So, but this thing about Guyana, Trinidad, and Barbados, I think is a good thing because Guyana now swimming in money from the oil revenues and they could back up any slack. But nobody wants to go into business and they want to make profit because that's the motive of going into business. But if they got trade, Barbados and Guyana has a long historical relation because Barbados used to be a staging point for Guyana during the developmental stage in the early stage. So you'll even find the names of families in Guyana and Barbados common. So to add Trinidad supposed to get a lot of money too. And there was a time they used to bail out Guyana and Jamaica. And I don't even think they get back their money after all, but whatever. But the thing is, that's a good idea. They control the South, and nothing wrong with that. And then if it works and they find they could come further up, they do it. But you got to start somewhere. And I heard somebody called in a little earlier from the U.S., a kind of American tone, division. I wonder if you forget that St. Kitts and Nevis are two small islands. How many ports you want? And most of, I want to, let me put it this way, I think you need to look at the geography of St. Kitts and Nevis. But port here. That ain't a work. I mean, between Antigua and St. Kitts and Nevis, so we're accustomed to go there when they got chartered for whatever occasion. Mm-hmm. But not like how we said it, you just can't walk. You may want a lot of port. The boats nowadays are faster and so forth. And lastly, in relation to St. Kitts and Nevis, I am glad that the service has become what it is from what it used to be. But remember, everything has a cost, and the people want to make money. They need to make profit, not because they like the people who travel. They're going there to make business. And last, anybody going into business, usually it is said that they're supposed to resort the market. Mm-hmm. But people resort the market in different ways. Some just look at what they think people making and they follow. Okay. But sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So that is my little bit for now. I'm going to try to be a little more regular on the program, but I want to say this. Mr. Gumbs and Mr. Jamster, I will turn the radio up to a certain volume. But then I can't hear you all. I'm sitting. I hear the lady.
Okay. I guess it's the microphones.
And what I notice, when you have off the program, the volume and the radio gone up considerably. So you all need to adjust that now. When more people in the room, they can take up this space and so, you know, and the ear and all of that, you know. So look at that, man. We don't hear you all. You all talk to Sam. Do a little better for this new year. Have a good day.
Okay, then. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay,
I'm looking on the wall and I see Philip Hendrickson said, Winner is a typical example. When it was managed by the Dutch government, was running at a loss. When it was privatized, immediately they started to show profits. So what is it about government-run entities that end up in problems? Oh boy. Okay.
Because it's more about I guess the government has other considerations,
But what considerations?
Not just
we can't be so
profit.
broad. Yeah, because I remember Mr. Gonzalez saying when the lady was trying to ask him, but aren't you in business to make a profit? And he was dodging that question like nobody's business.
I mean, I want to say it's the local, governments tend to try to appease the people in which they serve in terms of ensuring, let's say that...
But how are you going to appease us by giving us a product that doesn't work? Or look now. We had all these governments vested in Liat. Now there's only one government fighting to keep it alive, and now it's going to die.
When you have a private entity, the private entity is not considering whether or not they're going to win the next election. They're considering whether or not the profit is going to be made to keep that business venture afloat.
But if the business venture is viable, why aren't they fighting at their hardest to keep it for their people, for the electorate? Because how are we moving now, Azard? How, as I said, every single day, it didn't have to be in season or out of season. Every single day of the week, Monday to Friday, Liat was packed with persons going for their visa because they knew they probably had one stop in Antigua, and then we stopped that. We had a direct flight now from St. Kitts to Barbados, which people were grateful for, and back from Barbados to St. Kitts, and it was mostly persons going for their visa. How do we cover that slack now that there is no longer a Liat, and then we have other carriers that people are now complaining about and wishing that Liat was still alive?
When done, governments... The intention of a government is... Why is he laughing?
As that is eventual government, I put it on him. That is an eventual government minister right over there.
No, it's the same thing when you have the IMF said to the government that you have your civil service is too large. Number of persons that you employ is too large.
Does Barbados or here?
I think they've said it here at St. Kitts and Nevis at one point in time. They said that the civil service is too large. Then government employs many persons. What is the government going to do?
Well, actually,
cutting?
That's kind of part of what I was going to say.
You understand? So those are the realities.
The difference between corporate and
then
government.
You've had Jamso talk about Liat and said basically it's Antigua and Barbuda and the number of employees who work there, and so
they were the biggest employer in Antigua.
Political patronage.
The government is ensuring that its people get some jobs, whether or not the airline could afford to absorb those jobs. And so when you have government in things, as I said, the government, let me switch it another way. Private entities aren't considering whether or not they're going to be seen favorable to secure a vote next 5 years. They're thinking whether or not they're going to see to their expenses month to month and annually,
and also keeping their shareholders from getting a pitchfork.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right?
So private entities tend to push more because at the end of the day, it's even though government money is the people's money, in a private entity you putting in your money and it feels more personal. So you don't want that money to be lost.
Yeah.
You don't understand.
So you work hard at.
Let me use St. Kitts Music Festival as an example. But let me preface it by saying the first thing is the difference between corporations and government is that governments are entrusted with looking out for the greater good, the common good.
And the common good of whom? The country?
The country and everyone. And what that comes with is that profit shouldn't be your first motive. No, I'm going to use the St. Kitts Music Festival as an example. The original mission statement of the St. Kitts Music Festival said it was intended to generate economic activity in the tourist sector.
Okay.
And the subsequent spill-off during the slow season. And it didn't necessarily have to make a profit. But how I would frame it is, and how I interpret that to mean is, it doesn't mean, and if things are done properly, it means that you're gonna run it. You're gonna run these entities as efficiently as possible. And in the case of the St. Kitts Music Festival, Okay, maybe they didn't make a profit, but I think if it's done properly, you can actually make a profit, but it should not be about the profit. Whereas with the private sector, profit is pretty much the only motive.
Yeah, because they have to, the money has to turn over to pay.
With the government has the leeway to say, well, listen, we're trying to do this because we want the economic spill-offs during the slow season to help everyone. And if we make a profit, that's gravy. Okay. Now, like I said, at the same time, you're going to try and make a profit, probably, but that's not the only motive. If you have let's say you have sharp people doing what they're supposed to do, marketing, logistics, money management, you can actually turn a profit. But it's not about that alone. So I think that's the difference. Okay. Yeah, which is why, for example, which is why pretty much any government that's run properly, even if they say they're not a socialist government, they are a socialist government because a hospital is socialism, the police department is socialism, the defense sector is socialism, the teachers paying for teachers, that all of that is socialism. Socialism has been given a bad word by Azard's friends, the Republicans.
You say my friends, though.
Just joking.
No. Oh boy.
Because those things, when you think about it, those things are for the common good. Social Security, pensions, those things are. That's what socialism is. And if the government is not going to administer those things, who's going to do it? Certainly not the private sector. The only thing that they pretty much do is the pension thing, which they have to do based on laws, because you work there, say you work at TDC for 40 years, and then they give you a pension after you retire, blah blah, and then you get Social Security from the government. So the government's duty bound to work for the common good. Corporations don't have to.
Yeah, as I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the governments want to make sure that,
when Azard's law firm has 12 people working, and he decides, I'm not making enough money, I'm sending home 7 people. He's well within his rights. They could say what they like.
I wish for the day when I could afford 12 people.
One day.
Thank you.
Take it, please. One day.
So much.
You'll come back and say, Boy Jamsa had said this, and look, I have 12.
I'm taking it in. Thank you. I'm praying it forward.
Yes.
So yeah, and at the end of the day, you see, especially in our small island.
Caller, go ahead.
Yeah.
You're live on ILT.
Hey, good day.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I hear Jump to speak about Social Security as
Oh God, what did I do?
Socialism. But Social Security is an investment that the working population invest into. You pay Social Security from the age of 18 until you get to 62. Some people die when they are 60. Some people die when they are 61. Some people die just going to 62. And all they get was in $1,500 or something like that up in our grant. So Social Security is really an investment that someone invests into and get a return. And I think that the former Premier, Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw, we must give him credit for that. Setting up a pension plan for the people who were not able and who were not being afford to maintain life at their later stage. Now, another thing I have, another problem is that we looked at increase, the government gave an increase, and that is great. But at the end of the day, I'm just asking we the citizens to be wise and be smart, because we're not going to just increase. There is no way that Rams, Oxford, TDC going to use the millions that they have or the millions that they make and cut into the traffic by giving back to the public. What you're going to find happen? Look for inflation. Everything the milk from Rams going to have on 75 cents. Everything of sardine going to have on $1. So it means that the merchants are going to make much more money than they are making now. And there are sometimes I hear the cry of price control. And somebody saying, oh, price control can't work. Because Rams may buy a tin of sardine for 75 cents. Hotspot may buy a tin of sardine for 80 cents. So how are you going to tell them to sell it for $1? No, that's not the way it works this time here. When government brought them in, they could have controlled that. Now what the government can do is to say, look, I give you a certain percent markup. So let's say that Rashford and Rams going to get their 50% markup or their 60% markup. So at the end of the day, they are still going to get their 50% markup. Rams might sell for 75 cents, Hustle might sell for 60 cents because they buy it from their vendor out there at a lower or a higher price, but their markup would be the same. But do you think government want to do that? No.
But Carlo, before you go on, just bringing it even closer to home, I got a haircut on the weekend, and usually I would pay $25 for my haircut. And when I approached the cashier, I was told 30. I don't. So, and
VAT is included now.
So
really?
Yeah. So
even at the spa, VAT's on now.
When was the last time you took a? When was the last
time I took a haircut?
Yeah.
Maybe like no more than a month ago.
And it was 25?
It was 25 at the same place. So I thought.
I said,
you
I said to someone, right? Idea?
Yes, we're here. We're here.
I said to someone, go buy a tin of milk, a tin of sardine, a pack of macaroni, a tin of beef, and give it to somebody. You may not want it, but go back in February and buy that same item and see the difference in the cost. Because what you find happens is that inflation is going to come higher. There are more of us who we continue begging. We're going to continue begging still. You know why? Because when we get that 8%, we're going to end up pay out 60%, and the cost of everything is that we want. But so I'm like I say that government don't want to. You know what you need? You need a rebel government. Because government don't want to approach Hotspot, TDC, and the merchant and say, look, you only allow 50%. Because you know why? At the end of the day, they're going to need campaign funds. And that is what is crippling our society. Because all politicians, all political parties go to those merchants to look campaign funds. And where it's coming from? It's coming from the consumers who buy the product. There are some people who order stuff, and at the end of the day, the markup is 200%, 150%. So there is where price control need to come. The government need to give them a certain percentage that they can work with. But like I say, is that are these governments that we elect ready to do it, or we have to get a rebel government to do it? Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Same to you. Thank you for your contribution.
Okay, so funny. There was a call right before he's finished, and as soon as he said "Have a nice day," the call is gone. Yeah.
Call back. We're here.
Okay, here we go. Island T, you're on here.
Yes. Good morning again.
Hey,
good morning.
Yes, there's such a thing as a common good or public good. I think that concept extends to organizations as well. I don't know if it's by agreement or an understanding that, for instance, we have the OECS, and major organizations are distributed among the countries in the region, right? If LEAT was to leave, okay, I think Antigua would not be left with any, as a major player in the OECS, would not be left with any major public good, if you want to call it that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that consideration. Then, of course, there's the fact that the transportation in the region between the islands will always be difficult if you're going to be using the wrong equipment. There's no point trying to fill a 68-seater, or however many there were, 64, ATR, on frequent trips between Antigua and St. Kitts. But it makes sense if you can use something like a Twin Otter or what's the smaller version?
Islander,
there's a smaller version that they used before. If you use one of those 8 or 9-seater things, of course you'll get the flights full. Okay, and that's the point I was making with the market, right? Those smaller planes have low operating costs. They don't have air hostesses. Yes, Kortensia would have been out of a job, but then she'll find a job somewhere else.
But if everybody gets those planes, let's say somebody wanted to continue being an air hostess, then boy, that's one job market that'll be totally shut off.
What? Which job market?
Needing air hostesses or hosts.
Oh, no. Okay. Remember, you still have the hubs.
Okay.
You still have major traffic between, let's say, Antigua and Barbados, or Barbados and Trinidad, or Barbados and Guyana.
Mm-hmm.
Those are more conducive to using things like the ATR, and those need air hostesses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So it isn't that you're cutting them out of the market altogether. What you're doing is making these hubs more efficient, okay? And at the same time making sure that your individual islands have the air services that it needs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that I think is workable. But then, you know, how protective Antigua was of the arrangement where no island supposed to come in through the back door to disadvantage Leah.
Yes.
And so the deregulation was difficult. Okay, by all means, keep ECHO, which I think is based in Antigua, the East Caribbean Civil Aviation Authority, I think it is.
Yes, it's still in Antigua.
Right, to make sure that you have standards and you know, make sure that international regulations are adhered to. But there's no reason to be protective of any particular airline in the region. Let them compete, and the ones that are better at running the services win out in the end. That's how capitalism works, I guess. Okay, and that's how you become more efficient.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask
right?
you now. You heard the discussion. We came back from the break. Kay read the article about the proposal put forward by
the ferry.
The ferry. What do you think about that?
Well, how is Makana doing? Do you know?
No, but I think I kind of have a feeling this would be bigger ferries because they're going to be doing freight as well. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking,
yes. You mean like what you had? Actually, my first introduction to the islands was by those federal boats.
Yes,
okay, and I really enjoyed it.
Exactly.
Okay, it was a no-frills passenger service as well as cargo service.
Yeah.
And, you know, it worked for a while. I don't know why it was allowed to just be discarded. You know, but yes, that's a possibility. There's no reason why we have so many cruise ships in the region, and none of them carrying locals in any large amount.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, you don't have to get the mega ships.
Yeah.
But get something that's not going to make people sick. Okay?
I mean, take for example, you know about those boats that Trinidad and Tobago uses to they're really big. They carry
cars and so on,
and they carry cars and so. So I was thinking that's probably what they were thinking. It can't be the small boats because, like I was telling them, Kay and AZ, that you know the bigger the boats, you tend for the most part not to have the motion sickness problems that people have.
Right.
She seems dubious about on that point.
Right. Plus, I mean, I suppose there are boats that, like, what do you call them? Those that pretty much fly on the surface of the water.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those aerofoil type things. Yeah.
They're supposedly more comfortable, but they're also very expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the rub.
Yeah. But we need to finally get this going. You know, we've talked about it a long time. Everybody knows that it's needed, so it's a matter of getting it done.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll see where it goes. Yeah.
Definitely have to see where it goes because right now it's not going.
Yeah. Well, AZ had to leave for court, so we are here lonely and by ourselves.
Why are we lonely? You're so not good.
So, anything else? Let me see what else you had. There was a bunch of cool things there in the chat that I thought were. Yeah. So that ferry thing, I actually think that I feel like, and you realize he referenced what I referenced about when you have the larger boats, you travel in comfort, and you know, okay, let's say you're going from St. Kitts to St. Lucia, for example, or even Barbados, or even Trinidad. If you have the time to spare, it's an experience, because most likely those larger boats would have entertainment facilities. You might be even able to take your car. I hope those are some of the things they consider, where they have a mix of equipment where you could have a.
But taking your cars.
Well, not for. That's what I'm saying. You have a mix of equipment where maybe you have at least 1 or 2 boats where people who want to take their cars can take their cars.
So that's you moving from one jurisdiction to the next.
Yeah, well, all those things can be ironed out easily, I'm sure.
Okay.
You know, I mean.
They can work, but there will be if that's the case, then because it will be more efficient to have your car when you get to island, but then you have to know the workings of the island, what side you drive on, all of those things. It's not like between St. Kitts and Nevis where we know we stick on the left, so when we get to Nevis with our car, we stick on the left. So because even if, let's say, St. Martin was to bring a bigger ferry and we can take our cars over, once we get over there, no left driving, you pull on the right.
Yeah, but actually, that one would make sense because they're already so crowded over there. That wouldn't really make a lot of sense.
Exactly. And two, it will cut out business for the taxi drivers and the gypsies, etc., that needs the work when.
A scratch your car thing then, though. Well, I imagine some of them might have space for trailers. The cargo. It depends on how let's say how big they want to go with these ferries. But the cargo, I mean, it doesn't have to be trailers, but it might be a good situation where maybe a boat can carry at least 1 or 2 trailers.
But Mr. McMahon mentioned the cruise ship not carrying Caribbean people or not carrying Caribbean people. I think
carrying Caribbean people.
Because MSC is basically like a Caribbean cruise. And most of the persons that are on the door tend to be French.
Oh, okay. It's from like Guadeloupe Martinique type thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it originates in Barbados. Caller, go ahead. You're live on LNT.
Good morning.
Good morning.
One of the challenges of Caribbean airline with Caribbean smaller travel is this. Whereas ECA regulates the operations of aircraft and licensing, etc., giving landing rights in individual countries is an individual sovereign country decision. And so ECA may license as many airlines as are willing to provide services within the Caribbean. But if, let's say, in Antigua, the Antigua government trying to protect the monopoly of its own LIAT decides it won't allow competing airlines to provide services on the same routes that LIAT flies, it then is to the disadvantage of the consumer. And that is one of the challenges that we face, whereby we had, when LIAT was at its full strength, if you can call it that, it was possible to charter an aircraft and fly from St. Kitts to Dominica or any other island on a private charter basis. But individual countries were reluctant to grant operating licenses to airlines to offer scheduled services because they were considered competitors to LIAT. The notion that if LIAT had competitors, it would be at a disadvantage. But guess what? There was a time when there was one boat that traveled between St. Kitts and Nevis. And it traveled in once a day in each direction. On the other hand, then later, we had 4 boats traveling between St. Kitts and Nevis. They had different schedules. And when the notion of allowing a car ferry to travel between St. Kitts and Nevis came up, the operators of those boats said, it's going to take business out of us and it's going to make it unprofitable. Well, the Sigbridge came along. None of those 4 boats stopped running. We've subsequently had the fast ferries providing 6-minute service across from the peninsula to Nevis, or 20-minute services from Bassett to Charlestown. they're all privately run. The private sector will determine its cost and will determine its profitability. And by competition, it will create markets. I always say, no one in the year 1909 knew they wanted cornflakes. But along came someone and come up with this notion of cornflakes. And today, we have entire aisles of supermarkets occupied by just something called breakfast cereals. When Mr. Smith decided he was going to set up something called, later known as FedEx, people said, that is nonsense. How on earth could you deliver a package from Boston to New York for the same price as Boston to Los Angeles or Anchorage to Miami? It can't work, they said. Well, today, FedEx is the largest private airline company in the world. It's the only entity that owns more aircraft on the globe is the United States government through its military and other services. FedEx is bigger in number of aircraft than everything else. Someone in the private sector. Now, if he had waited for the equivalent of a CBD feasibility study to determine whether it could work, it was never gotten off the ground. It was up to someone with an entrepreneurial spirit and mind to do it, and it worked. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But guess what? When one person makes an effort and it fails, it becomes a lesson to someone else to say, look, the idea itself wasn't the wrong thing. It was the execution. Let's see if I can do it differently. And so private enterprise, in most cases, often brings things to the advantage of the consumer. Someone was speaking earlier about price control. Having state control the prices of most goods on the shelves would involve increasing the public sector employment, people going around to enforce these price controls, checking, etc. The example the gentleman gave about markup. Yes, in an idealized world, having a markup system that said you're allowed a 25% or 50% markup on a product is what will be allowable. But then company A might define cost differently to company B. So whereas at the originating point in China or United States or Mexico, a good may cost $1 per unit, when it lands in St. Kitts, one company may decide my actual cost is $1.22, another one may say my cost is $1.28 because you may have different structures, you may have different payroll systems, different payroll levels in their company. And so therefore, even though they got the product from the same place, they may end up costing differently. And so I believe living into the private sector will always work out because businesses don't want to make, in a sense, the most money per item. They want the greatest volume. CDC doesn't want to sell 10 cars and make $10,000 profit in each car. They much prefer to sell 15 cars and make $7,000 profit in each car, ends up with a large amount of volume because economies of scale. The more cars they can import and sell, the cheaper they'll be able to get the cars from the supplier. Because if you're only going to buy 10 cars from me a month, I am not going to sell them to you at the same price as someone who can buy 15 cars from me per month. Yep. And so it's a very, very easy and to some degree simplistic notion to say the state should be involved in setting the price of goods. But the days when you only had 2 brands of corned beef or 3 brands of sardines on the shelf are long gone. And the enforcement that you need in terms of human resources in the price control department, etc., one must ask, It's going to be really to the benefit of the customers when Kitchen Division now consider the different courier services on St. Kitts. The same that people figure that I can get online and order a toothbrush and a tube of toothpaste via Amazon Prime and get it this afternoon. It's the same kind of services. This is the reason why we have so many of these courier services on St. Kitts. They are multiplying, and the lines that they're on busy periods are even longer, often to the disadvantage of local businesses who then are saying, well, why must I import things when people are willing to go? Imagine there are people who import mattresses rather than say, look, just in hospital or courts or whoever just deliver the mattress to my house. Because they're further concerned after all the expenses and the customs and the guy who does pick up the mattress and drop it to the house. As far as they're concerned, I can get it cheaper. And so it is not just a matter of local competition. It's a matter of the sources that people are willing to buy things from. And ultimately, the consumer is boss. The consumer decides, I want my telephone not from a shelf in Digicel or Cable and Wireless, but I want my telephone from a website, God knows where. And if the customer is satisfied, price control won't make a difference. Do you think if the state decided, since the ticket for music festival is only $135, tickets for these other things you had over the Christmas season should not have an upper price of more than $150? Would that make sense? But guess what? People went on down to participated until humongous families for all these fets and all these events. They're not price controlled. And if you lose money, you learn next year price your product differently or get different costs for your musicians or your lighting providers or your whatever it may be. The market sets the market by a free enterprise and capitalism in most cases is the most efficient way to deliver goods and services to consumers. We will not tell lawyers how much to charge to go and represent someone in court. Because we all know 3 lawyers go to the same university, come out with the same degree, and one of them, you will not think twice about giving them a job. And one of them, you will think 17 times before giving them a job, even though they may be charging $200 and the other person charging $300. The market will ultimately decide. Thank you.
Okay, great. Yeah. What do you think?
He's correct. I guess the market really decides, indeed. But as I said, we go to the supermarkets daily and we see the changes on our receipt. We're going to make quiet noise because we don't really pick it or stand up for what we believe in, I find sometimes. And we just find the money to buy it. And we continue to buy. Some of us buy smarter because we realize that we're just paying for the name. And as you said, we have a variety of brands. So here is where the supermarket can say, but that's a cheaper brand that you can buy. And we saw when the Prime Minister made a speech the last time, he said that we do not have to eat Kellogg's, we can eat Sunshine. So we just have to be smart about what we buy and how we spend it. Maybe when we don't buy the big brand names, then they will be forced or have no other inclination than to work with us to get it down to a fair price that's feasible to everyone's pocket. So we do have a say, and sometimes we don't realize that we have a say.
I mean, he made a good point about the ferries, because I remember when the Sea Bridge started, people thought that, but
waste of time.
Yeah.
And
but
now it's become more efficient because people can come to St. Kitts and work and bring their vehicles and be able to move around than being stuck and having to wait.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, there is a compelling reason for using both, which is why I think they're still there. I'll give you an example. When we go to Nevis, sometimes we haven't driven up for we haven't driven up for maybe 4 years or so.
Okay.
But a lot of the times when we go up, the reason I want to drive up is because sometimes when you're going to, when you you take the boat down there, you have to carry all this stuff and something you're carrying up, maybe prepared food.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh God, I have to inconvenience people and excuse me.
Yeah.
And, whereas when you drive up, you just put everything in the back of the car and you go in the car and you're cool and you just drive and then you drive off and then you go where you're going,
And there's no inconvenience.
And
you don't have to wait on your friends. You don't have to inconvenience your friend for those few hours that you're going to be up there. So it works.
I mean, you pay for it, of course.
Yeah, of course.
So,
it's
sometimes, sometimes you might say, okay, now maybe that 275. Now let's just do I think it's 275.
I don't know the price. Know the price.
There's a if you pay round trip, you pay I think $25 less. Or
that makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But why would you mentioned it? Persons probably saying it would not have worked. Why would they say it won't work? Because they don't think people would transport the cars in between, or because it was their idea?
No, it was more that they thought that the ferries in Bastia would go to business. But when you think about it, that wasn't going to work because it's not everybody wants to drive all the way down there, all the way down to Majors Bay.
But hey, I find more and more people are driving all the way down there now.
Exactly.
Because the access that the 6 or 7 minutes that the fast ferry gives you is way better than 45 minutes.
Yeah, I agree. And then, I was going to tell him, but I said his overall point was fine. But, you can also take the fast ferries from down there as well. From down at Reggae Beach, usually.
Cockleshell Bay.
Sorry, Cockleshell.
You want to get in trouble. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
that's why I said everybody drives down there now. You see the barrage of cars that are normally parked there. Everybody feels it's quicker. It saves me time. Although I chop it up, we are driving the time that we would have taken the ferry in town. But we still prefer the fact that it's just 6 minutes across to the water and we're good.
Yeah. I think the sea bridge takes about 15 minutes, but that's fine. I mean,
but
it's an experience
and the
too.
sea bridge is right there too. But from town, it's 45 minutes?
Yeah. 45 minutes.
And if you drive to get over to Cockleshell Bay, it's like, let's say 20 minutes and then the 7. So it's way less than that.
Yeah,
so
it's still less, right?
It may look like you're using gas and whatever, but it equates to what you want.
I like to call it the scenic route.
Yeah, because you get to see a bit of the island that you haven't seen in a while, and then you get the jet over in between.
Even on the sea bridge, like when you go on the sea bridge and then if you choose to leave the car and you go upstairs, it's so pretty, Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
I've had to, when I used to fly, I took DHL, the small plane to Nevis. I came over on the sea bridge a couple of times.
Yeah, there you go.
It's pretty nice up there.
Let's take our last call. 958 caller. Okay, well.
We lost that caller.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Caller, good morning.
Caller, go right ahead.
Good day, how are you?
I'm okay.
Thanks.
I'm not an economist, but common sense and understanding would tell me that there are certain things that the public cannot order. The public is not going to order chicken from out there. The general public, they're not going to order tin and milk. And why they go out there and order it? Because it ends up cheaper. So I am saying whether I buy my milk for 128 or for 125, the markup is 40%, the markup would be 40%. So it means that I cannot inflate it. I present my cost, freight, insurance, and on that I get 40%. Now, I am one who firmly believe, and it's like someone speak about Sunshine and Kellogg. Is the nutritious value the same?
It depends. I don't.
Because I am saying that I should want the best for my people.
Yeah.
And make it competitive for them, because that is my promise.
Yeah.
I should not be able to tell you that if you cannot get island purified water, you must buy another water which is of less stature.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to make the best available for you at the reasonable price that I can do it. Have a nice day.
Thank you for your contribution.
Good point.
Yep.
Good points all around.
And that's why I said, right, the consumer need to realize that if the higher powers aren't going to work for us, that we can work for ourselves. Because if we don't remove that product off of the shelf, then they'll say, okay, in order to get, because you see, when it's coming close to its expiration date, what do? There's a big sign. They mark them right down. So come on.
And let me tell you, I take advantage of that all the time because I guess you know that a lot of these dates, like guide dates.
Yeah.
It's just that the companies like to err on this side of caution, but stuff is
because once it's past the date, one of us, the average person, is not going to buy it because they're going to say that's expired. That should be free.
But if you know that you're buying them and they're going to be good. I mean, for example, I bought some hummus last week for hummus and guacamole. Last week, and I think they had 5 days left on them, so that's why they marked them down.
But how safe is that though? Because
it's good.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Just don't get yourself sick, because certain things I won't buy. I won't buy with a week, especially something like that.
No.
Because then we won't wonder how the ingredients would activate after that.
They're good.
After the best by dates.
There's certain things you may say, but usually they're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
When you find things do go bad, I think a lot of times what happens is it's a situation maybe the fridge wasn't working for a few, maybe the fridge went down for a period, and
I'm cautious about mixed things like that.
Yeah, I mean dairy stuff. Most people are cautious about dairy, but I mean like I would buy like soy milk. Like last week also I bought some chocolate soy milk on sale, and it was, I think it had 5 days left on it.
Fair enough. You just consume it within the 5 days.
No, I didn't. But it was but it's in the fridge. Trust me.
So you think it's good still?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
It's good.
I'm just concerned. I don't want you to become. I don't want you to become friends with the Pepto-Bismol.
I'm gonna send you the article.
Okay.
You just have to know what stuff to do that with, because usually this stuff is pretty good. This stuff is good.
Yeah, they just don't want to. They just don't want to.
They're on the side of
all
caution.
the costs. Yeah. So
because
they make something off of it still.
Exactly.
Okay, fair enough.
No, meaning the manufacturers, they put the date, but they're erring on the side of caution. Usually, those things are good for like another 2 to 3 weeks.
Understood.
Depending on what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So take advantage of that. Sometimes I see string cheese. Kids
Thank
like.
God. I'm not a cheese girl.
Oh, you don't like cheese?
Nah.
No.
I don't eat pizza because the cheese frightens me.
Do you like pizza?
No, I'll maybe take a little bite, but no. I don't understand cheese and tomato sauce. Yeah.
Nice. Well, you're not Italian. You're not supposed to understand.
I don't. Yeah, so I don't. No. But we had an interesting day and some interesting discussions, and I like the feedback that we got. I love the feedback that we got from the listeners, including our mics. So guys, you gotta talk into the mics, or maybe I just have the best mic.
I don't know what it is. That thing over there needs changing. The mixer in the corner here needs changing, so that's part of it. I mean, I'm thinking my mic. Well, actually, I think I had it a little lower than it normally is. Sounds a little louder now, right?
Yeah.
And listeners, I will be hosting Voices today, so be sure to tune in at 11 o'clock. Socrates, I don't think is going to make it today, so I'm going to be have to host Voices today. So 11 o'clock, Voices. I will be trying to fill Socrates' big shoes. I'll be like one of those toddlers, who stick their feet in daddy's big
and
boots
just clop
and clop around. Yes, exactly. So,
but you can do it, man. You're accustomed. You're a professional.
So I'll see you tomorrow.
Yep.
Hope you have a great day.
You too, and to the Federation and the Diaspora, thank you for listening in and weighing in with your comments. We appreciate you, and we look forward to doing this again tomorrow at 8 a.m.
Ditto.
Yeah. Have a great day.